What up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have a balance patch kind of prediction video. Okay, the patch should be coming out next week most likely, so this week we might get the notes. Okay, maybe during the weekend, maybe earlier, I'm not sure, but it should be out next week at some time. So last time I did this, I made more of like an in-depth video. I talked about a lot of stuff, but this time I kind of just want to touch on a couple units that I think might deserve a nerf, and then mostly talk about my LDs, okay? Because I realized, why not? You know, I have a lot of experience with my own LDs, so by having a lot of experience, I kind of understand what the problem is with the units, right? So I thought it could be a cool thing to just mainly focus on my LDs this time around. Now, this isn't going to be really a prediction video, because to be honest, I have no idea what Ktos is going to do. Like, I just have no idea. Ktos is random as fuck, so nothing really makes sense anymore. So now it's more like what I wish to see in the patch more than like an actual prediction. But yeah, let's just jump into it. First thing, the unit that everyone's been talking about lately and everyone's been crashing out about is this guy. Obviously, it's not a surprise. It's one of the highest picked units right now, and it's one of the most stupid units. Last time, they gave him a buff, a double buff actually, which he did not deserve, a single one. He was already pretty strong. You guys maybe remember when these units came out, my suggestion was, hey, come to us, give him 100% strip rate, and then he's going to be really fucking strong. And then some people disagreed with it because they thought it would be too OP. I thought still it might be... I thought it might be too OP, but I still wanted to see it because I like consistency with units, right? And then he became really, really strong. Ktos didn't think so because Ktos, right? They have their own thoughts. They don't need to be they're not necessarily good thoughts and correct thoughts, but they do have them. So they decided to buff him again instead of just doing what they always do, where they buff a unit but then they also remove something from the unit to make it balanced. They just completely ignored what they usually do and they just buffed him twice. So I got more attack bar, and he, instead of stripping, he got steal, which gave him a form of protection that is pretty OP, right? So my suggestion for a nerf is to just revert the whole thing that he got last time, and we can go from there. You know, it's a speed lead, a good one as well. He has a good awakening. He has really consistent skills. He's just very, very, very strong, right? So revert the previous buff, and then we'll see, you know, how it goes. Next thing that I didn't really think I was going to talk about when it comes to nerfs is the water twin angels. I never really thought this unit was OP, but it's getting picked so much. It's over 50% pick rate in G3. It's over like 51 win rate in G3. It's insane to have that kind of rate, like pick rate plus win rate at the same time. It is ridiculous. I don't know if this is coming like from how the meta is at the moment. It could potentially be because of the other twins as well, because combining the twins is really powerful. Because just think about it. Before this season, you would not see anyone talk about these units in the sense of them needing a nerf. And they did not have even close pick rate to what they have right now. But as soon as all these other twin angels came in, and people are combining them more, suddenly they're becoming really strong. And I think that's their strongest side, is that if you stack more of these units and they have like so many skills together and they can decrease each other's cooldown, they can protect each other, they can do damage, they have so much together that it just becomes pretty damn strong, right? So I think a lot of this is coming from the fact that they're used together, right? So they're amplifying each other in a very crazy way. I don't know. Some people suggested that this could be lowered or potentially even removed, but it would be pretty bad for the water ones, especially because they're swift units, so you want to boost another unit while also moving. So I'm not really 100% sure what they could do with these units. But yeah, there is a slight chance that they might get touched simply because of the rates, right? Ktos looks at rates a lot. And yeah, there's a big possibility that it might happen. When it comes to LD nerfs, we have seen some units with really high win rate. Velasquez really, really strong right now. Zeratu's really strong right now. Super high win rates. I'm not sure if they will get nerfed. Probably not realistically. Zeratu might get a slight hit. I don't think Velasquez will, at least yet. Tianlang is still the main culprit, but I don't think we're gonna see a Tianlang nerf. Laura is still pretty high. I also don't think we're gonna see Laura again. I feel like LDs, we probably won't see any nerfs, but who knows, right? Who knows? Ktos could do anything. There's a possibility, right, for anything. And since there's not going to be many nerfs or any nerfs potentially in the patch, I want to focus more on the buffs. And this time, I will go through my LDs and give you my thoughts and what I think should happen. Because some I did mention previously, but some I have like new ideas to how they can get buffed and how they can actually become usable. So, thankfully, most of my LDs do need a buff, which is good because I can talk about it. Okay. We can start from the top here. Light Indra. Previously, I thought that giving him 100% stun rate would make the unit usable, more consistent as a follow-up, because right now he's in a weird spot. He's a follow-up, but he doesn't do that well, and he's also set up, and he doesn't really do that well either. So it's a combination of just not doing things correctly. Now, I don't think making this 100% will improve the unit, because there's so many CC counters now that it just won't really matter if it's a 50 or 100. It will become a little bit better, but it won't become like super used, in my opinion, because we already have really good CC units like Sean, like Monkey, who are not used much, and it's just kind of hard to use them, right? My suggestion would be to try to implement more Oblivion stuff, right? So adding Oblivion to the passive, I think would be probably the best choice for a unit like this. Give him a 2-turn Oblivion, keep the stun rate the same, everything the same, and then we can kind of get another form of Dark Gojo, just with a less consistent stun, but with the defense break, right? I think that would be a pretty good improvement and a pretty valid improvement, especially now when we have so many passives that there's not really many answers to, right? Oblivion is pretty rare. Good Oblivion units are very rare. We have Tessa. We have like some of those Witcher units, I think, that have Oblivion, but they're just not good enough, right? They're single target, and it's just very hard to use that kind of units. So a AoE unit like this with Oblivion would be pretty good in my opinion. Next, another unit that needs a buff, Narcia. Basically, Narcia is just a weaker Masha, and she's basically weaker in any sense. Base stats, rune requirement, way harder to build her because she has less base stats. Obviously, Masha weakens into speed, which makes it much easier to build her. She weakens into accuracy, which means that it is going to be way harder to build because you cannot put crit rate or speed in artifacts, but accuracy you could. So this just isn't a good awakening for her, and it makes her very hard to build. Aside from being very hard to build, she does have the worst skill too. And then she also has passive, which kind of reminds of the Masha passive, where she does get speed, but she has no protection, which is pretty tough for a unit like this. And Masha has the second form of protection, which is the bar decrease as well. So she just has way more going on to help survive more, or to help not get controlled as easily. So yeah, I think when it comes to Narcia, she needs to get something similar to that, right? Immune to something, immune to pushback, immune to stun. If they can figure out some new mechanic, sure, I don't mind it, but I'm just thinking about things they've already done in the past, and those things could help. I mean, immune to pushback would be a pretty good one. Immune to stun would be a pretty good one. We already had those so many times though. I know it's not original, but it's one of those things that can just help the unit. I would give her immunity as well, just like Masha, but then it's like just a copy, right? It's almost kind of the same. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what she needs, while also getting a crit awakening probably instead of accuracy. Yeah, that's basically it for Narcia. Next one, Lucifer. Now I'm gonna mention all my units. I'm not gonna just mention the ones that need a buff or a nerf. I'll just go through all of them and just give my thoughts. Lucifer is a great PvE unit, right? We all know this. He's good in farming, he's good in arena, he's good in siege. So basically, all of PvE is covered with Lucifer, right? He does his job well. Is he like irreplaceable? Technically, yes, but can you build better teams or as good teams without him? Definitely, right? You don't need Lucifer to farm. Farming is very easy these days, and it's just, there's so many good teams and options that you don't need an LD5 to farm runes, basically, right? So it's kind of sad when the LD5 just doesn't do the job as good as or better than just normal element units, right? Because if you're specifically good at something, you should at least be better than the normal elements at it, right? But yeah, he's still pretty good. The sad part is he isn't really good in RTA unless you have a very specific combination of units, which is almost impossible to get. So as a standalone, it is pretty weak when it comes to RTA. Now, one thing that I would suggest maybe that Ktos could improve on him is the attack bar gain or the condition of the attack bar gain, right? Right now, the way Lucifer passive works is if you do 5,000 damage minimum, you will boost attack bar. Now, the attack bar boost is proportionate to 1% per 5,000 damage. So if you do that 5k, you will get 1%, right? So 1% is pretty weak. And the threshold is a little bit stupid, right? So I would either make the threshold less, or I would just maybe improve the boost a bit. So he could maybe be used more in RTA. Because like it won't change how good he is anywhere else, basically. But maybe just making him more usable in RTA without all these LDs would be pretty nice, right? But yeah, it would just be a small kind of change. Maybe also the awakenings. That's one thing that could change. Res awakening is pretty weird, I'll be honest. HP based is also kind of weird. Defense lead is also kind of weird. Those are some smaller things that they could improve, which wouldn't really break the game or anything. But yeah, just some small suggestions for Lucifer, nothing crazy. Just quality of life for him, basically. Celia. Talk about Celia many times in the past. At this point, I'm not really sure if fixing Celia is possible. Okay? A lot of you might not know this, but back in the day, Celia's skill 2 used to be sleeps all units for 1 turn with a 100% chance. Okay? This was 75, and this was a plus 25. So, what it didn't say here is 75. What it did say was 50. So, the writing was 75, but the actual activation was 100. Okay? So, instead of Ktos changing the translation here to 75, they decided to change the whole skill and match the translation or description of the skill. So they brought it back to 75. Then they buffed it by 10% at some point, and then they added some bonus dots. Now it's not even 100% still. And to be honest, this skill isn't even the problem, realistically. Skill 3 is garbage, or passive is garbage. She has a condition, which after completing the condition, you do something that's not that good, right? You sleep a unit for 1 turn, and then you push the bar by 10%, which is a joke, right? There's so many CC counters. There's so much shit that you have to deal with. You have a condition. As soon as will runes are gone, the passive won't activate much, right? But then you might say, oh, well, there's immunity monsters, you know, so they're going to put immunity, you'll strip. I think the whole point of a CC unit is you don't want to let the immunity units move, right? That's the whole point. You don't want units to move. CC teams, that's the whole point of them, right? So first, they would probably need to remove the condition completely. Second, they would need to add something to the passive that makes sense. Oblivion, potentially. Another Oblivion unit could be nice. To just battle all these passives, right? And then the pushback could also be improved to 20, 30% potentially. And then she might be usable, right? There needs to be a lot of attention given to the unit. And it's possible, right? We've seen what they've done with Fire Megumi. Multiple buffs without taking anything from the unit. It's possible, right? Is it because they love passives that are counter picks and they want to kill the CC, the cleaves, the turn 1 teams? So they might not do that to Celia because she is a turn 1 unit. Maybe. It is true that Ktos has been trying to make the game more bruiserish, and they want to implement longer fights, so you would play the game for longer. That's a fact. We've seen it. We've seen the whole plan come true, you know, especially lately. So I think those are things that Celia should get to maybe be usable. Right. Next unit, another unit that needs a buff is Asima. Now, Asima buff is pretty simple to me. I think the whole point of Asima, what makes her good, is you do skill 3, and then you do skill 2, and then you kill stuff, right? Now, the problem with Asima is she doesn't get to do this ever, right? Even if you get the max attack bar, a lot of times you will get cut still. If you don't, you're still getting cut no matter what. So getting cut is the biggest issue, and I feel like a simple way to fix this would be if she got attack bar based on debuffs instead of just continuous damage, because then she would be able to use her defense break to get bar as well. You know, that's a 40% bar for free. So I think that's the perfect way to buff Asima, where she could actually be able to use her combo always, right? So yeah, I think that's a fair buff, and I think that's the best way to buff her. Could they add some more debuffs here? Potentially, but yeah, I think I like my idea a lot. What do you think? Arda, another unit that needs a lot of attention. Celia level attention. You guys remember, last time Ktos buffed Arda, they decided to also nerf him. Which to me is insane. I don't know how we get the Megumi buff again. I'm gonna be going back to the Megumi buff a lot of times to compare to some of these units that need a buff. But yeah, there's a reason for it, right? He got a 1- cooldown on this, and they nerfed his heal. Now, Arda's a trash unit, so why would you buff a unit that's trash and then nerf it at the same patch? Doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah, that's because Ktos has no clue what they're doing, as per usual. But that's okay. I'm fine with this. The passive sucks, right? Now, there's a couple things this passive needs to get. First of all, protection. Immune to stun, immune to defense break, something, right? Second thing it needs to get is to boost attack bar. Okay? 10% per crit is terrible, right? It doesn't make absolutely any sense. Megumi gets a 30% attack bar when you touch something. Not crit, touch. He has a speed lead, he has a self-stun, he has a setup, defense break. He has a lot of things, right? So being able to just do so much passively is pretty insane. So why does he not do absolutely anything? Well, I don't know, right? So basically, improve this, make it 20, 30%, immune to stun, immune to defense breaks, something like that. The defense stacking should be faster or increased even more, because his damage is not really great either, if you think about it. because it is very hard to build them still. Well, at the moment, if they increase his bar gain, it would be easier, right? And yeah, that's kind of what Artist should get. I think there's potential for him. I think there's a big chance for him to get buffed as well, because again, since Ktos is really focusing on the passives and on the slower play, the bruiser play, I think there's a big chance, because he is one of those units that complements that kind of playstyle. So yeah, that's Arda. Next unit, Light Monkey. Now, you guys might remember Light Monkey used to be one of the best CC units in the game, and then Ktos nerfed him. They nerfed his attack bar pushback. This used to be a 50%, and now it's 30%. And yeah, that's what they did. Now, that was fine back in the day. Now that we have so many CC counters, Light Monkey, believe it or not, is one of the least picked LD5s in the game. Okay? It is insane how little he's being picked. Last time I checked, it was like 1, maybe even lower than 1% or something. He became one of the biggest storage guardians. The fact that he's on a Lydia level of storage guardian is a little bit insane. It's mind-blowing, right? It is pretty mind-blowing. So I don't really know what to say about him, right? What can you even do to help a Light Monkey come back? You know? I think a big part of it as well is AoE strips are also weakened a lot. AoE strip teams are weakened a lot. Because Light Monkey used to be a unit that fits a team where you pick 2 AoE strippers, 3 AoE strippers, you pick a CC team, boom. Right? It's all CC units, AoE strippers, boom. That's it. CC team. Which we don't really have those teams anymore. So Oblivion is a chance, it is a possibility. I feel like to make any of these AoE CC units usable, they would need some kind of Oblivion addition, because that's basically the only way they can survive. Which is why you might see the Dark Oja sometimes. And that's kind of it, right? It's hard. I don't really know what to say. Will he ever be usable again? Probably not. If they continue with the passives and they never bring any Oblivion kind of units, anything that counters the passive play. So yeah, I'm not sure really. I wish I could use him again, but who knows, right? It's very hard. Considering Ktos is really focusing on the bruiser play and the longer fights, we might never see units like Light Monkey come back. And that's it for the light units. We go dark. The first one already needs a buff. I think for this one, it's going to be the same as I previously said. Celestra still needs setup, which makes her really shit. So if she didn't need setup, she would be good. So make her not need setup. Is that going to be by letting her ignore the first hit? You put 2 dots and you ignore at the same time on the first hit? Maybe. Are they going to completely remove the condition and just let her be a Lucian that puts dots? Maybe. I'm not sure. But one of those things needs to happen if we ever want to see Celestra being used. So I think pretty simple for her. Yeah, that's it. You know, we already have a Lucian, which is better than her, and she's an LD5. So yeah, I mean, it's stupid to even compare a normal 4-star to an LD5. Next one, Kiara, another unit that needs a buff pretty drastically. Okay, it's very sad that she is similar to Light Indra where it comes to she's a follow-up, but she's also set up, but she doesn't do either well. So I think I like the skill 2. I don't think that's an issue. I think the issue is the skill 3, where the skill 3 does nothing basically. So if you want to use skill 3 first, you will never be able to use skill 2. Because she will die, get stripped, get stunned. Something will happen and you will never be able to use skill 2. Right? So this either needs to give Oblivion or it needs to boost attack bar. Not Oblivion, immunity. Sorry. Immunity or boost attack bar. It needs to be one of those two at least to make her usable. Because this skill 3 is on a level of maybe not even 3-star units. Right? We have 3-star units who do better things. Right? If you just go attack bar boost or attack buff, I mean, this is just way better, right? It's a Fran. It is way better, which it doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, that's what it is, right? We have Megan, who's also way better, right? She doesn't have the ignore defense, but she does something really good, right? That's the whole point. A unit should do something really good, not two things very shitty. We have Kali, who's also way better. Attack buff, speed buff, 2-turn invincibility on herself. That is pretty fucking nice, right? So having a way worse skill, being just a way worse Kali, to me is just very sad. Okay? Because she is basically a way worse Kali. And don't let the speed lead fool you. This speed lead doesn't exist. You will never use it. You will never benefit from it because it's too low. Right? If you're fighting a turn 2 team, you will not need it. If you're fighting a turn 1 team, it will not be enough. So no matter what, unless you're running some kind of a Yonhong team and your Yonhong is plus 240, you will not use the speed lead. It is terrible. Now, could improving the speed lead help her a bit? Yeah, could. But will they do that? Probably not. Ktos is this speed lead bullshit they've been doing, not just speed lead, leader skill in general bullshit that they've been doing, where if it has 4-star counterparts, it's a shit lead. On the 5 stars as well. It's ridiculous. I don't know why they keep doing this. It's probably laziness and shit coding, but that's their fault anyways. So yeah, this definitely needs something. It is embarrassing to be worse than a Kali as an LD5. A free unit, by the way, Kali. Like, it's a little bit insane. Next, Vancleef. Another unit that needs a buff. And I think this one's pretty simple. Main issue with Vancleef, gets countered by Heigang. How do you make him not get countered by Heigang? Well, simple. You make him, instead of strip, you make him like Dark Dryad, where he lowers the amount of turns on the buffs, on the enemy. So it's not a strip anymore. You counter Heigang, and then you do something pretty well, right? His skill 2 sucks, His skill 1 sucks, but at least the skill 3 would be good, right? So I think that's the main buff for Vancleef. I think it's simple. Very good. Yeah. Simple buff, simple solution. Makes him good. Next unit also needs a buff. Like, a lot. This is the only LD5 I own. Well, I think Lucifer was also never on a balance patch. Beelzebub, another unit that was never on the balance patch. Insane, but it's true. Now, the way that you would buff Beelzebub. First of all, his water brother does everything better than he does. So what do? Well, first you gotta make this attack bar thing a instant turn. You get a turn, you can't get procced on, you can get cut. He just steals a turn. Boom. Second thing that you need to do. The problem with Beelzebub is a lot of games that you're running him, you're never using skill 2, right? So you're wasting turns just skill wanting your enemy, which is pretty inefficient and stupid, right? So make it so this skill, this passive activating, resets the cooldown on skill 2, right? So you're able to use Madness Judgment whenever you want while he's alive. When he dies, boom, comes back, this resets, so you can use it again. That would help him to just be used more, and it would help him to have more freedom, right? To not get locked behind never being able to use this. And then even when you save it, and then you come back, and then you get cut or procced on, and then you don't even get to use it. So those are 2 suggestions that I think are very good for him. And another suggestion was not being able to reset him, but that's something that can probably wait. And I kind of wish I could see the first 2 things being implemented first, and then after some testing, we could tell if it's good enough or not. But yeah, really needs a buff. Sad unit. I love him. I think he's cool. The design is really cool. Not just like the look of him, but the design of the unit is really cool. You know, the design of skills is good. So yeah, I hope he does get some love. Next unit. A unit that is just great in every content. Not amazing in RTA, but it is still pretty great. There's not much to say about Neptis. Maybe this could be reverted, where she got nerfed, where this is a 60. They could make it 80 again, but she's still pretty decent, man. I mean, I have nothing really to say. She's pretty balanced. I like her. And not just the main sad part is not super RT usable. Unless you have certain units, it's very hard, right? Also, it doesn't help her that AoE teams are getting weaker and weaker. You've seen me play it a lot lately with Giana and Wunsa, but it's been so hard for me to play Wunsa lately, and that I might ditch this team. It's just so many counters. It's getting out of hand, you know. So I think there's a high chance that I'll have to ditch the team, and I won't use her still. So yeah, I don't think it's a her problem necessarily, but yeah, it's just the units that Ktos creating is just making a lot of things harder. But yeah, next one, Wunsa. Man, I hate seeing Wunsa becoming less and less usable because he is on paper so fucking good. 118 base speed, AoE strip, boost attack power on whole team. You know, this was the god unit that you want if you're an AoE player, you know, which is, this was the top of the, I mean, that was one of my top most wanted easily units, you know. And now when I'm trying to use them, it's like everything counters you. They buffed Megumi recently, they buffed Water Ryu recently. Those are 2 new additions that just fuck you up, right? It's insane. There's already Nemesis. There's already that, right? There's already getting outsped, right? There's a possibility nowadays. There's so many insane base speed units. It's very hard, right? There's Triple Revenge Verd, which is one of the main bullshit units, right? It's like, it's insane. It is like almost impossible to play Wunsa now. Unless you have like some insane LD stack. Tian Lang is very important if you want to play Wunsa. If you have him, he can help you a lot. But that's crazy, right? For you to have a requirement to own the best LD5 in the game to be able to play Wunsa it's ridiculous, right? So I never thought I would get into a position where I would be talking about a Wunsa buff because it's unrealistic, right? But it's just basically almost impossible to play him nowadays. It's frustrating, but that's what it is, right? Ktos, they just really want to kill the turn 1 playstyle, like the full turn 1 playstyle. Yeah, and I don't know what I would say, what I would suggest about him. You guys let me know. What do you think? I just don't know. I don't think he will get anything because I don't think Ktos will contradict what they're trying to do, right? Because like if they want to make the bruiser play and if they want longer fights, I don't think they will give love to the turn 1 units, right? That can prevent that from happening, you know. So yeah, Wunsa's a bit of a sad unit nowadays. And next unit, we're coming back to basically my only really good RTA LD5 now. That's being used a lot lately. And she's about 30% pick rate. I think she's around 51 win rate. So she's about the same win rate as the Water Twin Angels with about 20% less pick rate, which makes sense since she is an LD5. But yeah, Giana, last time she got nerfed, it dropped her win rate by like 2%, which was a pretty big downgrade in win rate. But she's still one of the highest win rate units, highest pick rate units. Yeah, she's just amazing. I don't think they will nerf her, to be honest. There is a possibility, but I'm just not sure what they would do with her. She does have a lot of counters, but nowadays you don't really play Giana as a turn 1 unit. Well, you do take turn 1, but you're bruisering, basically. You're not playing a CC team, right? Every Giana player these days is just picking a speedly Giana, and then it's a full pivot, because your enemy usually, they start picking Giana counters, and you're not going to continue picking turn 1 stuff into the Giana counters. You will just pivot into the turn 2 stuff, into bruiser kind of stuff, to be able to battle those counters, right? So that's the kind of playstyle that you have to do with Giana nowadays. Which I don't really like to play that kind of playstyle. That's why I haven't been using her much. I'm not a big fan of Bruiser. So yeah. But will she get touched again? With a 51% win rate-ish? I'm not sure. Her pick rate is pretty good though. So I'm really not sure. In honesty, I don't think we're gonna see any LD5 nerfs this patch. We might not even see any nerfs in general this patch. It is very high chance. If we do, it's gonna be 1, 2, max. That's it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. This was a little bit different than usual. You know, just talking about my own units. You know, because of all the experience I had with them. So yeah, it's a little bit different than what we usually do. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think about all these suggestions. Give me your suggestions. You know, yeah. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoy making these videos a lot. More than playing the game at the moment, to be honest. Just talking is what I enjoy a lot. Soon there might be another tier list video, and it's gonna be a different one than what I usually do as well. So make sure to be tuned for that. Okay, I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Much love. Stay safe. Take care. Peace out.